Hello and welcome back to my RP-1 hard mode playthrough. So we flew our film camera and biosample contract last night. I have this X-plane flight coming up. Make sure that I have folks trained for that. Six days. Alright, so we're off by 2 days, like last time. Don't suppose anybody actually has any training. No, just checking. Alright, and hopefully I have finally remembered to add the new button. So we can select the default location for Launch Complex 3 and we'll set it to Launch Complex 3, of course. But when we add a new pad, then we can set it to an appropriate launch complex, and then automatically when we roll out and launch from that pad, it'll launch to that launch site. So instead of me having to remember to click on the thing and choose select launch site literally every time. So cool. All right. And we accepted the no, did not accept it yet. We didn't accept it because we don't. Right, we still have the. We need the other biosample. So instead we need to, I guess, send a sounding rocket up. What science do we have left to do? Alright, we finished biosample science. Let's look at photography. Water and forest, we haven't finished shores yet. What? Okay. 190 units. Sure, let's do that. Okay, so no more biosample. Hey NorCal, welcome. So we have to do it this way because we have to carry the sounding rocket payload up to the required altitude. But I need to ditch the fairing sides. Hey NorCal, good luck with the career. I'm not so. Given how I know I literally like the last 3 careers I've played have been called rusty, but like I was genuinely rusty this time, and not least because RP-1 had changed out from under me in the last few years. So I was genuinely rusty, but like now that I'm actually less rusty, I'm finding that playing it on hard was about as hard as playing before on moderate. So I don't think it'll be that bad. Yeah, I like I like how pretty planes are too much to not build planes, but I will be interested to see how it works out for you running no X planes. Yeah, I have been doing the exact opposite of speed running thus far. Um, uh, okay. Oh, I put it in build instead of R&D. Well, I'll put this one in R&D. It'll be fine. We're still getting a bunch of mileage out of every point. Yeah, so I'm definitely not speedrunning, but I hope to at least match the historical first satellite date. We'll see. Okay. So that gets reconditioned. That gets mounted to the carrier. We'll wait a couple days. Okay. I appreciate your confidence that I will beat that date, but we'll see. We will see. Okay. So last time we severely overshot, so I'm gonna do 500 kilometers, and hopefully we will not severely overshoot. Sure, we'll let Dale fly it. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to try to get to Mach 2 fairly low so we can get the Mach 2 science. But not so low that we burn up. All right. Okay, let's get up to 45 kilometers. One thing that I genuinely don't like about this is I don't like an uncranked delta. Like, it would be much prettier if it came in like this and did that. Okay, we'll coast up, and then we'll relight. Because basically I want to go up to 45 kilometers, slow down, cool off a little, come back down. Once I get under 40, then goose the engine again. Basically to maximize our time above Mach 2, but not above 40 kilometers. I actually kind of want data on this. Slow down, pitch up. Okay. Back up. back under 40 kilometers. Slower descent rate a little bit. Also slow ourselves down. Alright, the skin is cooling off pretty rapidly now. Back under Mach 2, so let's get back above Mach 2 again. And just hang around at the 38 kilometer mark. There's the Cape. So 500 kilometers was not enough kilometers. Oh, did we have a lot? Yeah, you're right. We did have we had a performance loss. That's interesting. Did not expect to have a failure on this engine. It's super reliable. Also didn't expect 500 kilometers to be not enough distance. Okay, let's get back under 40 kilometers. Okay. Okay, we're definitely riding the ragged edge of thermal limits here. Okay, skid's cooling, internals are rising very slowly. But we must have almost depleted our data, or our sample. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm NorCal, you're not wrong. Also, yeah, so, no, Mr. Bond, you're correct that that's not actually that hot. Oh, that's looking a little dangerous. Yeah, I think I have to revise the thermal limits of that cockpit, because it really shouldn't be that problematic. Okay. We have got everything that we can get out. So we'll get nice and high, get subsonic, trade our energy for altitude. And around we come. So we actually probably kind of want to be 700 kilometers away if we're going to do a speed run. Also, no, Mr. Bond, where are you getting 170 degrees Celsius? No, oh yeah, no, you're right. I'm mathing wrong. You're mathing correctly. Okay, that looks about right. And back we go. Now, aluminum does weaken at a far cooler temperature than I thought it did, but it doesn't weaken at at water boiling temperature. I think it's fair to say. so this thing reaches its performance limits around 75 kilometers of memory serve, so we have a good few more X-Planes High contracts to fly. Okay. So many pads. That's does not like it. Like literally half the flight is the glide home, if not more. Okay, that looks like pretty good alignment. A notch less flaps. That'll do. Okay. And there we go. $51 for going really, really fast. Another full 4 science for that. And that that was enough to give us another point. Excellent. Yeah, you're right that this plane looks like a fish. I mean, the nose also makes it look like a fish. It just plain looks like a fish. Dark helmet. I'm using atmospheric autopilot, but I'm also using mouse aim flight, which is that little yellow crosshair, because I think I tried atmospheric autopilot's mouse-based flight, and I didn't like it as much as mouse aim flight, so I'm using mouse aim flight instead. But at times I will leave both of them engaged, because the PID in mouse aim flight tends to wander a bit, and atmospheric autopilot keeps things rock solid, although it does flutter the control surfaces. Okay, so it takes 42 minutes to refuel. Let me just check something. High altitude flight and hypersonic flight. So we can switch over to start doing high altitude flight. Okay. So now we just have to go for altitude and try to get over shores. Yeah, that flag is just skittering all around. Don't really know why. It's like it's in time warp. There's the blockhouse for launch complexes 1, 2, and 3. And 4. Okay. So, throttle up. Ignition. Away we go. Okay, so I think I want something like 87 degrees. Spin up. Away we go. Taking photos, taking photos. Not decoupling this section for yet. All right. Now we completed the contract, so we can decouple it. All right, and let's see how long we stay over the shores. If I nailed my ascent. Looks like it was pretty good, actually. Okay, yes, excellent. We got all the data from space over the shores. So let's come screaming back down and see what we can get from flying high above the shores. Oh, now we're over the water. Oh well. Oh yeah, I also really don't need to fly the thermometer and barometer anymore. That'll save a whole, like, $5,000. $20 Gs, 22, 23, 23 Gs. Terminal velocity is only about 200 miles an hour at 5 kilometers, which means it's probably going to be fairly close to the terminal velocity of a human being. The drogue makes very little impact. Shoot, deploy. And I guess we'll warp. It is taking a while. There we go. Come on. You would think that angular drag would solve this problem. Yeah, I don't think FAR is applying enough angular drag in that situation. Okay, we finished off the shores photography. Excellent. Let's see what else we have. Alright, so those are the three biomes we have access to. Would be good if we could get more flying high science, but I think that's about it for what we can reasonably get flying high. I mean, I guess I could try to do something silly like deploy the mother of all parachutes at 90 kilometers. Even though we were going super fast, and hope that just the low air density would be enough to slow us down fast so the parachute doesn't burn. I don't know. Something that feels kind of sketchy. So yeah, I'm not actually sure what else we can get out of that. That's interesting. That's easier than the one we just flew. Strange. I have to get 405 units. Oh, that's not bad at all. Alright, so I guess we'll fly one of those. Which I think we can do just this. Well, that's slightly annoying. There's an imperceptible little gap there. Okay. This should be able to hold an awful lot of liters. Yes. 1.8 kiloliters, in fact. We'll tool it, it's cheap. Sounding rocket payload. Oh, I didn't accept the contract, because of course I didn't. Okay, that's the downrange milestone. Downrange intermediate requires 325 and downrange difficult requires 405. Close enough. Oops. And the requirement is 340 kilometers, and you have to get suborbital. Let's see if we can do it. I assume we can. see how this goes. Spin up. Okay. Let us see how much downrange distance we actually get. Probably the limit for single stage. Okay, looks like we cleared it. We don't need electricity, we just need to complete the distance. Yeah. All right. Not by quite as much of a margin as I would have liked, but it's fine. At some point there's got to be enough air for us to reorient. There we go. Man, oh, they fail due to, they separate due to dynamic stresses. That's what's going on. All right, so we can do it. We actually got plenty of margin. But any future endeavors we will need to use a second stage for, I assume. Happily, it's pretty cheap. As always, we will duplicate it just in case. Accept that. Buy an upgrade point. And let's warp. I probably could cut it. Yeah. Yep. We'll do that. See, how long has it been for one of these? It's been 80 days. So sure, I'll start training the crew. Material science completes, and the rocket will complete. Sure, I'll do a night launch. I haven't done a night launch yet. Okay, engage autopilot, throttle up, and away we go. It's super dark. Why is it so dark? Did it reset? No, ambient light boost is boosting. I guess it's just because a lot of it's painted black. Or something. Oh, right, that's right. I think there's like a scatterer issue, or an Eve issue or something in terms of blackness. Alright, let's spin up. And out of the atmosphere we go. space. We did slightly better than last time. Had a little bit of variation in residuals, I guess. Or actually, more likely an engine-specific impulse. It looks like we didn't actually vary residuals. Okay, batteries are getting low. Okay. Contract complete. Oh, and I can't range safety it because it doesn't have electricity. That's fun. Down we come. Okay. We did the thing. Mm-hmm. 50 kilometers. We get to do another one of these. And let's see what the next downrange requirement is. Oh, we can do it with the exact same rocket. That's convenient. Except we actually probably got to wait because the anti-grind thing is not giving us much of a reward for doing that. I also probably should do my downrange milestone pretty soon. Like, I only have to get 6 kilometers per second delta V out of something to do it. And we've basically already demonstrated with those 2 stages that we have close to that, and we've got better tanks now, so. What did I get from here? I got, yeah, aluminum stringer tanks. And we're also getting an upgrade. Could upgrade my XLR-43, which I haven't unlocked yet, but okay, so we'll yeah, I need to do the downrange milestone because I need to be doing orbit before too long. It's already just about to be 1955. What's intriguing is that I'm sort of on the historical pace for tech. Like, except for the fact that I won't have the science ready. We'll see. I'll get a giant boatload of cash when I take first orbit and first scientific satellite. No, Mr. Bond, I agree. I agree. I don't think KSP's text supports having an outline. Alright, so apparently we need to be 650 kilometers. We'll try that. Well, I'll try 600 kilometers. 650 feels dangerous. Because I might get an engine failure again, in which case I'm kind of in trouble. Let's start our run. Hey, Marsh. It's a... Yeah, basically, I should have a higher sweep on this tail, but it's fine. As for this tail shape, I'm basically needed to ensure that it was more swept than the main wing. Didn't know whether you meant the V-stab or the H-stab. pretty sure that's the requirement. Yeah, 50 kilometers. I mean, we could try to reach the... I guess on the next flight I'll try to reach the 80-kilometer record. Look at the clouds, high above the clouds. Yes, the main fuselage does use a wasted shape, so it does have that classic Coke bottle shape. But the tail, the fact that the horizontal stabilizer is down at the bottom of the fuselage, I mean, that's basically the borrowing from the F-100, which is sort of a dangerous thing to do given the F-100's landing characteristics. But other than that, all right, we're going to skip right back out again. Basically, I'm trying to hover as close as I can to 40 kilometers without going over 40 kilometers. Because that has to stay in flying low. All right, we're more than halfway home. Yeah, but there was a bunch of 50s era fighters that had the tail at the bottom of the fuselage and mid-mounted wings. I mean, the advantage of doing it, so like the F-8 Crusader is a good example of that too. Although the F-8, the F-8 had shoulder-mounted wings. But the idea behind that being that at reasonable, like at positive alpha, your tailplanes are not at all in the slipstream of the wings. At negative alpha they can be, but you don't want to be spending time at negative alpha anyway. one danger with it is you got to be careful about landing at high alpha because you can easily break your tails off with a tail strike. Particularly if you're at negative pitch, because at negative pitch the tips come down. Okay, I think the cape is over here. A bit hard to tell because of the clouds. There it is. The cockpit heat was kind of worse last time, to be honest. Or maybe it was not, now that I think about it. It was about like that last time. Gotta get back under 40 kilometers. Spacefaring cockpits generally are fine. It's just this one in particular, the thermal limits are too low. Like we calculated, like I think its thermal limit is something on the order of like 120 degrees Celsius. It's not great. Yeah, what did it set it to? 390. Oh, internal is 390, but the skin is 825. Yeah, it's just got too high a transfer rate from the skin to internals. That's what's going on. As is true of most KSP parts. Hey, Rachel, thank you. I spent an entire night making it look like that. It was sort of ridiculous. But yeah, I'm very happy with it, how it turned out. Oh, well, I wasn't looking. We got under Mach 2. That's very sad. And thank you for the raid. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. All right, let's see if we can get back over Mach 2. Oh, it's depleted, so it doesn't actually matter. It's fine. so let's come around for landing. Congratulations on orbiting Titan. That's pretty awesome. I assume you mean the moon Titan, not that you launched Titan. Yeah, so like, I think in gameplay terms, the crude science makes a ton of sense. I think it's problematic in terms of requiring you to fly planes to get it, and also like that you have to do basically 8 full flights at 5 minutes each, it looks like, to get it. So like that feels a little grindy, particularly given that there's like a bunch of experiments. So it's like not just 8 flights, but 8 flights times the number of experiments. But yeah, it like the fact that it actually feels like you're doing real science feels pretty awesome, rather than just like you actually have regimes you have to be in to do it, rather than just like you equip it and you're done. So that's awesome. Like the Diamond did an awesome job with that. All right, so we should be cooling off now. Squirrel, that sounds like something the destroyer would do. Send a Saturn to Saturn, which is carrying a Titan, which will be sent to Titan. Then Baradu, so that's the RSS Canaveral HD mod on CCAN, which is based on combining the work that Katniss and folks did for that high detail static mesh for the Cape area, with anti-clockwise propellers work on the base Cape height map and terrain color map that you can see over there once the high detail static ends. It'll look much better up close because the PQS detail is kind of low from this high up. And let's change our mode there. RSS-Canaveral HD. Probably if you just search for Canaveral on CCAN, you'll find it. Or, yeah, if you want the GitHub link, Squirrel has got you covered. Yeah, exactly. To represent the entire Earth, I mean, because like this texture is something like probably, I think it's an 8192 texture, which I don't recall offhand what that means, but it's probably like 32 megs something, I forget, or more. So yeah, if you had that resolution for the entire Earth, it would be bad. It would be very bad. Like, it'd be great if we could just tie into some repository of satellite photography for Earth terrain, but you can't do that for free. Yeah, Google Earth has very particular licensing. I think it's more like a pixel a meter, but yeah. Don't think it's a pixel a foot. It's definitely lower res than that. Might actually be a pixel a couple meters, but probably a meter. Guess we might as well take the brakes in. Also lowering the gear. Lowering the gear would be good. Need to flare a little more. That's fine. Okay. I deem that an acceptable landing. Flaps up. And there we are. Ooh, crap. Yes, right button. Almost clicked the wrong button. That would have been very bad. Yeah, between 2 autopilot mods and KSP wheel, landing is way the heck easier than it used to be. Also, like designing a plane that has enough wing area, that helps a lot too. All right, we got another 4 science. That's nice. Got some money. Yeah, flying it at high alpha is great for drag, but like just having the combination of speed brakes and flaps makes a huge difference. And it's worth pointing out that one of the reasons that plane does well is because it is not actually a delta or a canard delta. You get a lot of advantages from having a main wing forward, because you can actually have flaps that work as flaps. Like you basically, in real life, you could have flaps on a delta because they have an effectively increased camber. But as far as I understand it, FAR doesn't actually model that. FAR basically, like the advantage you get from flaps is just that it's a surface at higher angle of attack. So like if this wing were back here and we had flaps, basically they would be identical to elevators that were in down pitch. So the way this is set up with the brakes and the flaps near the center of mass, there's not really any pitch moment from using either of them. There's a slight pitch moment from popping the speed brakes, but not much of one. And there's like a little tiny down pitch moment from the flaps. Also just because it moves the center of pressure back, which effectively is a down pitch because of the effect of gravity. But yeah, like there's a reason why I did not make this into a delta or a canard delta or something with the wing on the trailing edge. Conversely, if you're making a re-entry vehicle, you actually kind of do well with canard configuration or a delta configuration, because you basically can have huge elevons on the trailing edge that you can cock up at 30 degrees. And they'll actually basically, they'll have the normal pitch moment of control surfaces, but also just because they shift drag back and upwards, they will effectively pitch you just by how they're moving the center of drag around. But yeah, this is a good plane design for an early space plane. For like not really a space plane, but like an almost space plane. It's like probably actually about the performance of an original X-15 before the XLR-99 came online. I'm happy with it. But before too long, we're not actually gonna have more performance in it, and we'll have to wait until we can unlock the X-15 cockpit and actually do something big with 2 XLR-11s. Yeah, if the so if you're making a plane, if you're making Dinosaur, the issue with Dinosaur is that, like, have you looked at how big Dinosaur's elevators are? They're huge. They're like utterly huge. So unless you have elevators of that size, you're not going to have enough pitch authority for reentry. But the other issue with that is that based on the wing shape of something like that, of the X-20, your center of mass is going to be fairly far back, so the lever arm that your control surface give you is not much. So if you combine that with some canards that are far forward, that have a great lever arm, then you actually have better pitch authority. Okay, so I guess I'll just warp until that's done, and then try to fly the next downrange mission. Okay, sure, that's fine. Don't even have to change the rocket. Wish we had the performance to do this, but we don't have the performance to do this. We also don't have the cockpit to do this. Gotta wait for a while for that to make sense. This thing, should probably do this pretty soon, given that it's almost 1955. Alright, it's a dawn launch. Let's go. Hey, CMAV. Yeah, so I'm not sure on what's optimal. I guess doing the downrange milestone earlier is fine because it doesn't actually eliminate the other contracts. So I probably should have done it a while ago. I still don't really understand the flow of when I should do it. Yeah, I mean, it effectively gives me what, like 2 or 3 points. It unlocks the orbital contract, but I'm not going to take the. I guess I probably could take the orbital contract at this point. Now that I think about it, but then I would have to do a caveman orbit for sure. And the issue is that I would. Yeah, you're right. I am forgetting the altitude and speed records. But the issue is that, like, I'm fairly far away from the first scientific satellite. Whee! Wish I gave you an option to go to Space Center and accept the destruction of the flight. That would make my life easier. But we'll have to write it down. Whee! Okay, start another one of these building. Okay. What's next? We could do one of these, which is trivial. Can't do that without rebuilding the rocket. Same with that. Oh, it doesn't have a deadline? Okay. Sure. How much does it cost to upgrade mission control anyway? Oh, it's cheap. Costs about as much as point. Only a little more than KCT point. Feel like I probably should do that. Because 2 contracts is just not a lot of contracts. I mean, on the basis of one of those 3 contracts being the downrange milestone, which you just leave sitting around, then yes, it is very useful. Yeah, you're not wrong that it makes sense to have a contract sitting around for a little while. Why is that straight-sided? Okay, so this is a ridiculous contraption, but it will probably be enough. It will probably be enough to get me the downrange milestone. And in actual fact, what I can do is put a third of these on here. And that will definitely solve the problem. Yeah. The question is, will we be stable? Yes, I'm 100% cavemaning on this thing, but it's because we basically already have this setup built, and it's dirt cheap. I don't have to tool anything other than that top tank, which will be extremely cheap to tool. We'll keep it shrouded. What time of day is it? Daylight. It is daylight time of day. Let's see what we get. So I'll have to spin up real good. Also, why did I bother to put a nose cone on that thing if I was then going to proceed to have that monstrosity of a pancake tank? Oh well. It's fine. Yeah, the real issue is that I don't want to bother tooling for aluminum stringers when I'm not actually going to use that tank. Like, I'm going to get AL2 by the time I'm actually ready for orbit. So why bother actually spending money to do this thing? And yes, I'm aware the pitch program is super suboptimal. It's because I'm extremely aerodynamically unstable. Might be able to deal with a shallower ascent, given how much we spun up. We'll see. If this doesn't make 3,000 kilometers, then that's exactly what I'll do. But it might make it. Huh, why did it not really hot stage that time? That's weird. Yeah, the fact that I have that nose cone on there is doing nobody any good. MechJeb will hot stage based on the predicted time to stage exhaustion, but if it is predicting wrong, aka Real Fuels is sending it wrong information, then it will hot stage effectively too early. This is a problem with where, say you're flying a Titan 3, like Titan 3C or 3E or something, and you have those big solids and it's an airlit core. And you have the core set to hot stage before the solids decouple. The issue is that, actually it's not really a problem with Titan, but you saw this as a problem with my solid core 2 version, where I replaced the first stage with a solid. It will hot stage the second stage when there's half a second left on the burn time of the first stage, except due to the thrust curve, there's actually more like 5 seconds left. So the next stage burns for a while. It's basically the same problem with residuals, but like basically it's fine. That's why I'm using 0.5 seconds rather than like 1 or 1.5 seconds, because the margin will be a little tighter. Oh, right, autopilot's engaged. All right, let's see what we get. So yeah, this was a sufficiently suboptimal ascent that we're not quite going to make it. Yep. Yeah, so the hot staging is reasonably reliable, especially because like with the dev version of Real Fuels that I have, I've enhanced the I'm reporting a better number to MechJeb than I was before. Wait a minute. That's not good. Crap. They were not actually auto-shaped. They were on auto-shape rather than not. That's bad. I think they were something like that. Yes. Okay. So you now get to be way thinner. Okay. That will do. try this again with a less crummy ascent. Did lose a bit of delta V from having heavier fairings, but let's try that. Man, the fairing on this came out looking very, very Russian. The fact that it's not an open interstage is not Russian, but the nose fairing looks very Russian. Alright, spin up time. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. That's why I was not trying to have such a shallow ascent, for exactly that reason. Try 55. I mean, really what I should do is change this around so that it's an interstage in the other direction and then mount fins. But and also try to spin up a little more, which will definitely lead to some level of precession, but it's probably worth doing. Better than, like, the gyroscopic effects will outweigh the precession effects. Oh, shoot. I waited too long to spin up. Oh boy. Yeah, okay. I think I'm probably just going to have to put fins on the second stage. But let's try one more time. And this time not forget to spin up. That's better. Just needed to spin up a bunch. Needed to get up to like 90 RPM. Okay, I feel good about this. Let's see what happens, but I feel good about it. Especially if I remove the now useless nose cone. Okay. Yep, we're fine. Not a ton of margin, but we're gonna do it. Okay. Okay. That seems fine. And now we blow up real good. Okay, so we have a bunch of engines. any of which could fail. So, But on the bright side, it's pretty cheap. How much faster does it build if I tool the tank? 2 days faster? Not worth tooling. I am going to remove the nose cone. That gives us even more delta V, so that's fine. All right, so sure. We'll build a couple of those, take the contract. I'll fly it and then I gotta go to bed. I think I want to start this upgrading too. Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't actually cancel anything else. Okay. It's 3 a.m. Let's make it not 3 a.m. And I should have prepped that for air launch earlier. All right, we might as well go. Oh, hey, stupid Chris, I didn't realize you were watching. Yeah, my money is on a second stage failure on one of the engines as well. Although, even if we have a failure on one of them, we probably will be okay. I mean, overburning the other two, maybe? We'll see. Away we go. I mean, if my spin rate is high enough, losing one of the 3 engines will not actually affect things that badly. I could just not lose any engines. Let's hope for that. Lol. You jinxed me. Spin rate is lowering very quickly. Not good. We're precessing pretty badly. Yeah, that was expected. Yeah, this is probably not going to work. We'll get some achievements, but we probably won't make the 3,000 kilometers. So every single engine in that stage failed. Should have spun up more. Probably going to be like 2.7, 2.8 thousand kilometers. Let's see what we get. Oh, right, I was still warping, so... sorry, I was still under autopilot, so... Also, we got real unlucky with our residuals. That is incorrect, because we don't have much aniline left. Oh, we're barely going to get over 2,000 kilometers, not 2.8. Yeah. Okay. Standing ready with the range safety button. Basically, I want to see if we get over 4 kilometers per second. But we'll see. Oh yeah, I missed that we weren't even in the atmosphere yet. Alright, I guess that's as good as it's getting. Okay, well, it wasn't a waste because we got a bunch of those milestones. But it was still not the successful mission that we would have liked. Yes, also I got lots of data on the engines, although I'm pretty sure that they're at max value by now, given how many of them I've flown. So yeah, gave us money. It's fine. Okay, so I will do the flight tomorrow because I'm zonked. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Probably at an early time. I'll say I probably stream during Saturday afternoon rather than evening. Alright, have a good one. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.